Okay, welcome back to Hindustan Astrology. I'm Katya, and I have back my dear friend, Ahz Rogers.
Hey,
Welcome.
hello, namaste.
So, how have you been?
I have been great. Actually, I had an extra burst of energy this week, which I'm very thankful for. And now here we are sitting in the Chinese New Year.
Yes,
And
Happy
we
New
have
Year.
Happy New Year to you too. And it will be a Happy New Year. It'll be a good year, much
Yeah,
better than last.
I'm so excited, and we've been talking about this is the metal ox, the year of the metal ox, and she's been kind of giving me, clues as to what's going to happen. And I thought, why don't we just go ahead and do a video where we're just going to ad lib and talk about it, and just like we do when we chit chat all the time. And you can tell us about the Bagua, which is it's the diagram of where the stars are for the year, and how they align in our home and where we should put things to maximize our abundance and wealth. So with that, I will give the floor to Ahz. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Bagua and some different formats and diagrams that she has to show us. So I'm going to start the screen share here.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. You are so impressive. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. I like the background and everything.
Good.
Yeah, so I could go around this whole thing here, but let me give you a definition of what we are looking at for those who are not familiar with Feng Shui and Flying Star Feng Shui. Flying Star Feng Shui is a school of Feng Shui that has been used for probably 5,000 years. So you're looking at, when you study Feng Shui, you're studying 5,000 years of Chinese wisdom and also philosophy. It's not a religion.
No.
It was based on the magnetic ley lines in the earth. So when you're working with Feng Shui, it is more of a horizontal gravity versus an up and down gravity that we have. So they work both ways. And but it does coordinate. There are several, like I said, there are several schools. There is form school, which is the formation of the earth. Example being a mountain is considered the turtle. A waterway is considered a snake, and so on. That is one school of Feng Shui. The Flying Star school of Feng Shui coordinates the earth with the astrological zodiac. And it roughly, you and I have talked about this, but it roughly follows the Jupiter cycle,
Right.
which is about every 12 years. 12 zodiac animals. Each animal has its own year. They divide them up into the 4 seasons. There's 3 for each season. And we are now on the number 2 for the spring season. And this would be the ox. And the order that the animals are in is also something we had talked about last year based on the Great Race. They had a great race to get to the finish line and be considered the beginning and first honorable zodiac animal for that year. And it continues on. And it was the rat. Last year was the year of the rat. How did the rat do that? He beat out the horse and the pig and the ox and the dragon, and he beat everybody out. The little rat was very clever. He got on top of the ox, and the ox kept going, and he was almost to the finish line, and the rat jumped off of his nose and crossed the finish line for him. So he's considered the first one in the zodiac. And now this year, that was last year, was the rat. This year is the ox. They also have an elemental school that you read along with this. And the elements are wood, fire, and water, and you have metal. And so they all work together. And you have to be able to, if you see too much wood, you have to be able to either destroy it or exhaust it or augment it, depending upon where it is on the bagua. So the bagua is what we see in front of us. And that square, when you make the bagua from being round into a square, they call it a lo shu square because it makes it easier to overlay on top of the floor plan of someone's home or business or land or something like that. But we're going to talk about why this year is such a better year than next.
Yay!
Yay! So yeah, don't let me get into much of a monologue here because
no, I want to hear
you talk. And I, when we talk,
I'm not here to hear myself talk. Do you want me to go to the next
slide? Okay. Yeah, when you and I talk, like I sit here and I can tell you all these things and without a piece of paper in front of me, right. But I don't want to shoot so far over anyone's head that it's not, that it's not making sense. So
no. I remember last year you said the lost star, the 7th star, was in the middle. And so now we have the 6th star, which is heavenly luck. So what does that mean?
Okay, you're right. Last year was, from a Feng Shui standpoint, last year we were like, how can we even tell people how bad it's going to be? Because the number 7 star was in the center. That star is shaped like a knife, right? Like the blade of a knife.
Yeah.
It cuts. It's violence. It's burglary. It's destruction. And it touched in the formation of a cross. It touched an illness star, a bone breaker star, a quarrelsome star, and it brought about everything that we could lose just about. The number 3 star was there also in one of the 4 cardinal directions, and that's legal problems. So last year it was like, well, when you talk to people, and I'm a master Feng Shui consultant, and I have been studying this for 15 years, and I've been certified for 8. I got my master certification. So when you talk to people, when people want a reading about their house, you need to know the direction of the front door, the back door, and their birth date. And then you, depending on how deep you want to go, but then you overlay this lo shu square over their floor plan and you look at it. Last year, as readers, we looked at it and said, oh no. Oh no. It's just because everything said that it was going to be a terrible year. Well, we had no idea how terrible it could be. The Earth as a globe has a bagua on it as well. And guess what the center of the bagua is on the globe? China.
Oh my God.
China. So the number 7 star was in China, which was attached to the number 2 star in the south. And that is where we got the corona. It was just written there as plain as day to the Feng Shui practitioners who could read it. And when you talk to someone, you don't want to say something is going to be bad, because, I'm of the belief, and many are also of the belief, that thoughts create things. And if you obsess on something, it will happen. So it's hard to tell someone, oh my God, this year looks like it's going to be crazy, because then they get afraid and then they start manifesting it even more. So last year was a difficult year, but the good news is this year is going to make up for it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where was the United States on the World Bagua for last year if China was in the middle?
Well, we would be east of China, which had the Bone Breaker star, which was the number 5, which really was all the
violence.
Broken bones and accident and blood. When you see the number 4 or number 7, the 5 or the 7, you're supposed to go donate blood. The reason being is that star demands blood to be fed. Sounds scary, huh?
See Mars.
This is but to, so you don't lose blood from an accident, if you donate blood, then the star is appeased.
Wow.
Don't shoot the messenger. Just saying, that's one of the things they recommend. Go donate blood, because then you have given blood already, and so you're off the list. But this year is so exciting. You asked me about the number 6 star in the center, and that's what everyone is excited about, because it's a heavenly luck star. It's also a windfall star. Now, a lot of practitioners will tell you, yippee, windfall, we're in it to win it. We got it all. It's going to be so amazing. It's heavenly luck. It's, and it's like reading the newspaper, or we don't read the newspaper anymore these days, but checking on your online horoscope, it's going to tell you something. Well, you'll hear this, probably won't hear this from many people, but you'll hear this from me. At that number 6 star, if you talk about it and think about it, it's a windfall star. What is a windfall? A windfall is an up. We saw that with the stock market in January, when the underdog guys with Robinhood software went in and bought the penny stock, that so many people bought it, it brought it up. And some people walked away with $400,000 after buying $5 worth of stock. And Wall Street people went crazy, because that's not the way you're supposed to do it. That was an example of the windfall. We will, stars don't make right turns in
and also
galaxy. So, you start feeling the effects of the new stars from December and January. And
it's
then
kind of foreshadowing.
Right. It's just like any retrograde. You have a shadow section before it becomes all aligned.
Right.
So
and what just happened with cryptocurrency, Elon Musk just bought up $1.5 billion worth of cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin has gone pshoo. I finally have made money on cryptocurrency for the first time. It's amazing. So now, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Get in, you guys. Now is the time to get on Coinbase, get on Voyager, get on Celsius. Celsius is a great app because they have people that are making sure there are no fraudulent investors and they're not going to get shut down, whereas other apps don't do that. So Celsius is great. But
That's
yeah,
good to know. I have to write that down.
yeah. Oh, we'll talk about this later. But yeah, cryptocurrency is
Yeah, but there's your windfall. There's your
yep.
windfall. What happens in a windfall? Well, things go up, but then they go down. What goes up must come down. And then you'll go along a little bit, and then whee, another windfall. And then it goes down again. So what is this? This is a roller coaster.
Right.
Okay. So this year is going to be great, really great for some people, and I'll show you which ones. Right. But keep in mind that it will be a roller coaster. So you better make hay while the sun shines.
Yes.
So when you get that, win, you better sell, get out. You need to hoard some and then reinvest some.
Well, that's what Joni always says, my teacher, as soon as the stocks tank, hey man, they're on sale. That's when all the millionaires and billionaires buy it up. So we will never have another stock market crash like we did in the Great Depression. It's never going to happen. There's too many millionaires and billionaires that are like, woohoo, stocks are on sale, and then that just circulates the whole thing. So I think that my advice is, take advantage of those dips. When it goes down, buy it. It's cheap because it's going to go right back up.
That's right. And now we do have some fluidity. This year we're really going to see that. And what's so interesting is the whole group of people that bought in on all those penny stocks, and then they decided, and it was all on Reddit. They got this group on Reddit, and they said, let's blow these guys out of the water. And they all got together as a group. And so, boom, there it went. So just remember, it's like anytime you talk about stocks, when it's time to sell, you better sell and then hoard it, because there's going to be a time in between where it goes down. And you're going to have to be able to realize you cannot completely depend on that high. You've got to be smart, and you've got to hoard some and invest some.
Okay.
So at the proper times. So that's our heavenly luck. Okay. Now I want to direct you to the very center here, where you see 864 or 468, however you want to do it. Mm-hmm. The houses who face either east or west are on a wealth axis. This is not something that comes up a lot. Sometimes it's called a parent string, but this is a wealth axis. And every single one of those stars is going to add up together. Like last year, they added up together for demise and illness. This year, they're going to add up for wealth. Woo-hoo! So, anyone who sees this video, I recommend that you get your phone and go to get an app for a compass and go to your front door, looking straight out your front door towards the street, and get a compass direction. Okay? And if you are facing east or west, you can start jumping up and down at that point, because it's a really good place to be for your front door. Your front door is the entrance of chi into your home. You protect two things. You protect your front door, and you protect the northwest, because that's the breadwinner. If it's not right there in the northwest, he could lose his job, he could go bankrupt, he could, lots of things. So we protect the northwest breadwinner, and we protect that front door. Those are the first two priorities. So if you look out and you see east or you see west, jump up and down, because those stars connected are going to bring you, it could bring you that new romance you've been looking for, or a better chance, because they're all connected, for that heavenly luck to remain high for you. And then the number 8 prosperity star, I hope that your house is facing west, because the prosperity star is where the money is.
I wish.
Bringing the money in.
My house sits between south and southwest. It's between here.
Okay, you're in good shape though, because on the south end, you have the victory star. Well, it's interesting because the number 2 star, which we see down at the bottom, which is in the north, the number 2 star was at the south last year. And that was the illness star connected to the 7th star. And those two got together and really just tore through the earth. But this year we have the number 1 star where the 2 used to be. That tells me that we're going to have victory over this virus. We're going to be victorious over what was there last year. See the little trophy there? That's what that means. The victory star. If you want to really enhance some victories in your life, the south is the sector for the horse. And if you get a horse statue that is up, you know, the 2 legs are up and you know, they're reaching up, that's a victory horse. So you put a victory horse in the south coming in, and that will help bring you more victory.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm considering getting like a really tall kind of fern-like plant for the living room, which is the southwest. Would that be a plant? Would that be good to help the quarrelsome or not?
Actually, it would be this year. The reason being is the number 3 southwest is big earth. Think mountain. So what do you do to exhaust the earth? You can put a plant in it and the roots go down into the earth and they get the minerals and the food they need out of the earth. So they would actually help the plant grow. So that's a good area for that.
Well, and isn't it funny? My intuition, I'm looking at the living room. I'm like, okay, the Christmas tree's gone. I need a big tree over there, you know? Like I'm thinking like one of those big 70s, you know, ferns, you know? Like
I have a huge bamboo cluster that I got from Rooms to Go. And that migrates around the house, depending on where I need it to exhaust something. Okay. So the wood and the number 3 star is good for that. So
okay, well I'm going to do that then.
Yeah, do that. But keep in mind we are in the year of the metal ox. So there will be a time when the metal will go after that wood, but it'll be, you know how you have a bad month sometime? It's just the way the stars fly. If a metal star flies into that area for a month, it could be a rough month, but then it moves on. So, and on my Feng Shui Live Fridays, I'm going to start doing a monthly, this is where the stars are going to be that are going to be but through this month. The flying star chart here is like the first imprint. And when you do a reading, you do the annual stars first because they're the strongest. And then you can look at the monthly stars. So, but anyway, that's a really great question. And if you'll notice, it says pearl string across earth axis. So we've got 369, which is a string of pearls. As you can see, this is an amazing chart because you've got not only this pearl string, but you have the wealth axis. You usually don't get both in the same year.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It is really, really encouraging. Now, when you have a pearl string across the earth axis, that means that the 9 and the 6 are going to soften the bad or inauspicious energies of the 3-star.
Good.
So,
and this is the women's sector of the house.
Yeah, you remember, yes, this is the matriarch. So in the women's sector, so look out. Do you see the 2 little people there? They're hitting, heads. It's because it's the argument star, the gossip star, the quarrelsome star, the legal issue star. And they have what they call the twins. They're 2 little twins that are the ones that dissipate gossip, and also exhausting the mountain, the earth in that area is going to be good. And that's your living room, and your living room is set up so beautifully with the paint colors and the rug color and all of that. I think you're going to be okay. But there will be a month or 2 that's a little, but that goes with any sector. So moving on down, we've got the 8-star. Put your wealth jar in the center with the 6, and then put any other prosperity types of cures that you have in the west. That would be like your Buddha. Here, I'll show you my little Buddha. There he is. This is a wealth Buddha. He's sitting on a 3-legged toad, which is a money toad. He's fat, which means he's prosperous. He's got a fan, so he fans away all of the problems and obstacles, and he's holding gold. And he's laughing. So any symbols of luck, Ganesha would be great there. But anything that has to do with money and making money, this year, the West is good for that. I remember the last time the West had an 8, and I was living in Key West, we had a pool in the West. And that was good because what is a pool? It's water. Water is money. And that was a very good year for us. So, but just keep in mind, you've got all 4, 6, and 8 all blending together, and the 3, 6, and 9 all blending together, and it's very auspicious.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Now moving down, we see that number 7, which is the violence and the burglary and the lost star. That's in the sector for the breadwinner. In our society, China is more patriarchal, but in our society, we have single parents who can be women, and that would be their sector as well, because they are the breadwinner of their household. So you need to protect the breadwinner. Never ever put candles or any kind of fire this year at all in the Northwest. No fire in the Northwest. That's considered the gate of heaven. No fire at the gate of heaven. So, and the way you mitigate this star, crazy things they come up with, is this little blue rhino.
Oh my gosh.
Blue rhino.
Huh.
Isn't he cute? I have also an amulet of a blue, for this cure, but that is the traditional cure for the number 7 star. And just don't do any renovations in that area. Don't, try and keep it quiet in that area. And, no candles, no bright lights. Keep it
Clean
calm.
it though, right? Get it organized.
And organized. Oh, yes, organized. And, you can throw a blue rug down. Here's a little secret that I do, because a lot of these things, move around. I had a black rug, I had a red rug, and I had a blue rug and a green one. And I'm not talking big rugs. I'm talking about the kind that you get if you go to like Walmart or Target, and you have those, just a little floor mat type rug, little floor mat. And so wherever the 7-star was, I'd throw my little blue rug. The black rug was for, I wanted to keep it at the front door, but the main thing would be if it was in the 8 area, I would put the black rug at the 8, or I put it in the center. Black is the deep, deep water. That's what it stands for. So it's money. So, so I get the blue rug, the black rug, the red rug. Red rug was to activate something. So, and the South has the victory star. So I would put the red rug there. And when we had our apartment in Switzerland, I had my front door facing the South, and it was on a bit of a turn. The South, directly across from the South, was the northeast. Northeast? Well, where the 9 is was, no, it was the northwest. So where the 9 was, it was the north. So it was, everything was on a diagonal, and I had to, manipulate the chart to reflect that. But I put the red rug at the front door, and on the outside, I put a black floor mat. Always put a black floor mat in front of your door, no matter where you are, because black attracts money. So, I wanted to activate my 1-star, so I put a little rug there. And I move them around. The green is for wood, and green is also money and health. So, just little subtle things that I like to do that just kind of keeps everything okay. All right. So any questions on the 7-star?
No, I think we understand that from last year.
Yeah. Keep it.
Let's move on to the next picture, shall we?
We haven't made it all the way around yet.
Oh, I think we have to do 5.
We missed the 2 and the 5. Okay, so the 2 is in the north. That's the one that was connected to the 7 last year. And the south. But this year, because of the pearl string and the wealth access, and the center being the number 6, it's going to be nagging health issues, not major health issues.
Like chronic.
It's going to be the nagging chronic stuff that you just can't get rid of, the sinus cold, or something that, just keeps showing up. Mm-hmm. And the way to, there was a group I read recently that some of the people who went through COVID had relatively minor symptoms, however, ended up being called long haulers because their symptoms lasted much, much longer and created other issues. So we're going to see that because of this in the north with the 2, but the 6 is going to calm it down. That 1 and 6 and then 2, those 2 stars are going to calm down the 2. And the way to mitigate the 2 is with a Wulu, and it's spelled capital W, U, capital L, U, O, Wulu, gourd. Gourd like a pumpkin, like a spaghetti squash, but they have a gourd there. And you are not supposed to have the elderly and sick in that room, and the young infants. That shouldn't be a nursery. So that is another area of concern, but thankfully It is the nagging issue, not the crazy, scary issues we have. So going back to the southeast, well, number 9 on the northeast, just briefly, that will multiply whatever flies in there that month. If a auspicious star flies in there, you'll get 9 times the action of an auspicious star. Wow. But yeah, so if when the 8 goes in there, it'll be a good month. However, when the 7 or the 2 or the 5 drop by for a brief visit, it's going to multiply those times 9 as well. So that's going to create with the number 6. That's going to create your dip in the roller coaster. So just be aware. We'll look at that, and there's ways to mitigate all of that, and we'll get through it. And the last one is the most hated star out of all of them, the bone breaker star. Oh, the number 5 bone breaker. And I remember when it was at my front door. So I really loaded up my front door that year. But you see to the left of that is what is called a 5-element pagoda. That is a must-have. You really need to get that 5-element pagoda and the rhinoceros, those two, to take care of those bad stars. The cool thing about this 5-element pagoda is on the very bottom, that square is hollow. So you're supposed to go out and take a bit of earth from your yard and put it in there, and then it will trap that earth and keep it. And the other thing to help the 5 yellow is that's a wood star. So you need to chop up the wood with moving metal and put your quartz clock in there, your ceiling fan or a fan of anything, and that will help to tone down that star. But the 5-element pagoda, I have 2 floors. I have one on the first floor and one, where did I put that guy? Oh, here he is. Oh, and one on the second floor. Okay, so this is, where are you? Okay, this is my warrior. And he is already, he's got a sword back here. He's got a wooloo gourd. He's got a big emblem on his chest. He's, got a scary look on his face, and he's carrying this, which is a mini 5-element pagoda.
Huh.
Yeah, and he's on my first floor. Second floor, I have the whole big 5-element pagoda because it's in my son's room. My son's room is in the southeast, so I am loading him up because I don't want him to get in any trouble. So yes, we can go to the next slide now if you want. All right, so remember last year, we were talking about people were making predictions and that sort of thing. Well, if you can see, the number 7 was in the center, but it was also touching the northwest. No, lungs. Where are my lungs? It was connected with the west, which was the 5-element. The bone breaker star. See how the bone breaker star in that area with the rooster is metal, and it involves the lungs, the nose, and the skin. So that's why there were a Feng Shui practitioner looking at the Bagua from last year would already came right out with, we're going to have illness. It's going to start in China, and it's going to involve the lungs, nose, and skin because of where the flying stars were. And it also looks at the liver, the limbs, the joints, and the tongue. And some of the symptoms involve the inflammation of all of that in the east. And then in the south, where the 2 illness was, heart, blood, veins, eyes. So, all of that came into play. And then the rat was living in the north with the kidney in the ear in a water sign.
So
And
is this last year or
water,
this year?
water's nose dripping and, respiratory mucus and all of that. So this is to let you know, when you talk to someone and they say, oh my God, I have nagging problems with my fill in the blank, you go and you look and you see what area, and the real Bagua is much more detailed, but you see the area. How did I lose you? Anyway, you see the area and you go, um, okay, let's do some things to mitigate it in this way.
Right.
Let's try something in, the area of the lungs and the nose. And that's what happens when you get a reading. You get a little bit more information and a little bit more help on how to correct some things. So do you have any questions on that? All of these, there's your 12 zodiac animals. There is your parts of your body. And then there are the elements that they're involved with and the directions.
Okay. So this is the year of the ox. So we would look at this sector, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
we would say as a health bagua that in general, everyone will have stomach, womb, and nose problems.
Actually, yes. And the reason being, that is where we will find the Taisu. The Taisu is
It's Jupiter.
Yeah, the expansion of the warrior god of the year. And so he could kick up some problems. His favorite pets are P-ows. How do you spell that? Capital P, I, capital Y, A, O. That's a P-ow. And those are, you need them in pairs, and they are his favorite pets. So you get a couple of those and face the northeast, and that will help appease the Taisu. I go an extra step and put another pair directly opposite him in the southwest, facing the northeast. That helps to mitigate all of that in the southwest as well. So we may see more people this year with stomach problems. And
well, that's what the virus actually is. They've discovered now that, the reason why people in China didn't have the stomach problems with corona is because they eat a lot better than us. Their microbiome is a lot healthier. But for us, we eat fast food and all sorts of processed food.
Yeah, and even the food in the grocery store.
That's why the virus is actually attacking our gut, which is, really the base of your immunity.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true. So
and the sinuses that are pulling all the poisons out of, your blood that, you're taking in, and the mucus that comes from that.
That's it. So yeah, we're going to see, the predictions are we're going to see some of that kicking up. And it's in a number 9, the number 9 there, which means it's going to multiply it. So don't despair. If you take care of some things and just keep an eye on, if you have an issue starting with your stomach, go see the doctor.
Or just, do your probiotics. That's the thing.
Right.
You probably need to, get some good bacteria into your gut, especially if you've been taking antibiotics.
Absolutely. You are so on the button. Absolutely.
These little foods have all of the bugs. The microbiome is made up of all of these bugs, and they all have personalities, and they all
that's so cool. That is just the coolest thing.
And they have personalities, and those personalities come out in us. So if we have too much of something, it'll be because we have too much of that bacteria in our gut. So the best way to keep it in balance is to eat local, because the local area is going to have the bugs for you, just like honey, right? And then also
Okay.
eat seasonal. Like in winter, if lettuce doesn't grow in your area in winter, you have an exemption to eat lettuce. Instead, you will eat cabbage because cabbage is a winter vegetable.
How
So
interesting.
that's how you get those bugs into your gut and, help boost your immunity.
Wow, that's interesting. And yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, you want to take a little more, pay more attention to your stomach and womb and nose. And like she was saying, you can, everything starts in your gut, everything, because that is where your immune system is.
And guess
So,
what else is in your gut? Your emotions.
yeah,
And
that's
so
where
all disease starts with emotion.
serotonin is made in the gut.
Well, it's made all over the body, but there are receptors in our gut that are just like the emotional receptors in our brain. And now we know that peptides are actually like little endocrine systems, and they have receptors on them for serotonin and different things. And they travel around our body and our bloodstream. So,
Right.
I mean, this stuff is made all over our body, and that's why, like, when you exercise, you feel good, right? Because it's not
Right.
your brain necessarily, it's the whole body getting involved.
It's so true. It's so true. And they call the gut the second brain.
And
If
it
you
is. I mean, it
go
really,
by your gut feeling, there's a lot of truth in that.
well, and just shifting your emotions causes a whole cascade of chemical reactions in your body. And so that is the most subtle way to approach feeling better, literally feeling better.
Literally.
Start with your emotions and just let your body do the rest of the work.
Hey, you know what? I told you this already, but I'll tell everybody. I got back into smoothies a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I love the lemon ginger spinach. And I am telling you, I started taking those every other day, going to Smoothie King, which is the best, I think, and getting that organic spinach and ginger and the lemon. Oh my God, my body, it was like tasting sunshine. I have more
Mhm.
energy. I feel better. It's like you don't know how bad you were feeling until you start feeling better and you go, wow, that was a big difference. But my
Absolutely.
body needed it.
And listen to your body. That's the thing. If your body is saying, I don't want to eat lettuce, well, don't eat it. You know what I mean? There are so many other
Exactly.
options.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. And
Yeah,
this is
this
the
is
Chinese
this
zodiac.
is yeah, this is we're gonna wind it down here so you don't fall asleep on us. But this is the year of the ox, 2021. The last year of the ox was an earth ox. It was 2009. And you might think back how your year went in 2009. I can tell you that mine started off bumpy, very bumpy. In July, I moved to a different state. And by November, I met the man I was going to marry. I didn't know it at the time, but I did. And that New Year's Eve was the New Year's Eve that he asked me to, be with him and bought me a brand new car and I mean, blew me away. So, and that's moving into the year of the tiger. But so it started low and ended high and had lots of bumps in between.
Right. And
So,
what else was 2008? That was the stock market crash. And so
uh,
all, when you hit bottom, the only way it is up.
yeah, so it looks like rats kind of have issues, because 2008 was the stock market crash and then 2020, there's the pandemic. Rats, I feel for you.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. And then next year is the tiger. Those seem to be happy years.
Yeah.
Think back to 2010. Everything was beginning all new, all, everything was new. And that life that I started in 2010 went for 10 years, for a whole decade. So I don't know. It's just, I put this here for you, for food, for thought.
Well, you see how they all work together because,
Yeah,
you want to think about elements, right? So like
right.
ox, horse, and
Mm-hmm.
dog all get no, I'm sorry, tiger, horse, and dog get along. So if you count
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you do, 5, 9, right? And you
Yeah,
just keep counting, and then we'll see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So snakes and oxes get along. So this year
correct.
kind of resemble this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roosters. So snake,
Okay.
rooster, and ox are the same elements.
Yes.
So if you just think about it like that, I mean, there's so many ways you can dissect it, but
Mm-hmm.
you can, if just look back and think, well, what happened during that year, and then that'll tell you.
Just also, if you want to boost your friendships and your overall luck and getting along with people, you do exactly what she said. You go count around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the snake and the rooster are compatible with the ox and
Right,
are considered secret friends. So
right.
you get a rooster and you get a snake. Well, they have these on a string, and then also the rat is considered a secret friend
Ah,
of the ox.
interesting. And it's
Mhm.
right behind him. So it'd
Yeah.
be
So
secret.
you have compatibilities, and then you have a secret friend. So they put them all on a red silk string. You know how they do.
Mhm.
And I have one up in my northeast corner of the ox because I'm an ox. So, but that's how you can do it, and it boosts your compatibility. It boosts your friendship because you attract more people that you are compatible with into your life.
Mhm.
That's part of this, but it's just interesting if you know what your sign is, to look at the last time your sign was wherever and what happened.
Very good.
You may have some of that going on this year. So the last thing I wanted to show you, this is a sample of a floor plan analysis, but it is also including the water star and the mountain star on it. So the large numbers, and this is based on 2011, I believe. Yeah, in 2011.
This is just an example, you guys. This is not for this year. So don't get
Correct.
confused. Yeah, this is an example of how you would apply the Bagua, which is what she showed us in the
Yes.
first slide, to a house.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Um, okay. Legend. Black text provides recommendation for the flying star, and red text provides recommendation for the annual flying stars. So that's all the kind of stuff that we work on and we work together. You see how it says this is the southeast on the top right, that blue bar? This is the southeast sector. The bathroom here has suppressed the 2-5. So in the bathroom, everything goes down the toilet or down the drain or down the sink or down the shower. Um, so you can see why that's suppressed. But this is just an example. And the smaller numbers are the ones that change every month. And the larger numbers are the annual feng shui. And we read those first. They have more power.
Got it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the city you're in, whereas the other ones are kind of like, or these are the city you're, this is the state. So it's like kind of hones it all into
Right.
spot.
Right. So, it says on the bottom left, this west room is the best room for the daughter. Each on when you look at the huge bagua, it not only shows you body parts, it shows you members of the family. Different points on the compass are for the eldest daughter. the youngest daughter, the eldest son, the youngest son, you know, all of this is on the bagua, and depending on what you're looking at. So that's why people go to a Feng Shui master, say, I'm having trouble communicating with my daughter. And you say, is she 16? No, bad joke. But, you know, it's what can I do to have this happen? You know, what can I do to calm this down?
Right.
And this is all of the examples of it. So.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. And I just want to thank you so much for going over this with us. It's so important to understand how the light from these stars and planets trickle down and affect us, because when you get down to it, they're all kind of, you know, getting at the similar thing, because we're all under the same night sky.
Exactly.
And so the Chinese are tying into what the Indians are saying, and the Indians are tying into what the Arabs are saying, and the Arabs are tying into what, you know, the Europeans are. I mean, if you break it down and you see, it's all just an interplay of sunlight and starlight and moonlight.
Oh, I love the way you put that. It's true. It is true. And I heard something today, just today. I sent you the video, the lady I sent you the video. I listened to her video and she said the earth has a tone. Well, the earth is not the only thing that has a tone. Every planet, every star, everything in the universe has a tone. And they have recorded it from the space station. And the tone is changing, which is interesting.
The
So,
Schumann resonance has been fluctuating and going up, and
right. So, you know, this kind of moving into 2020, we are in for a decade like we haven't seen in many, many years. So, by the time we get to 2030, we're going to look at 2020 like it was the dark ages. So.
And 2030 is when we're going to arrive on Mars. 2024 is when we arrive with a new station on the moon, and then that station is going to propel our astronauts to Mars, and that'll be 2030. So yeah, I just did a video on the Great American Eclipses today of 2023 and 2024. So I'll show that to you.
I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it.
Oh,
Well,
thank you so much, Oz. I
welcome.
so enjoy our time together, and I'm so happy that you could come on my channel again and give everybody a heads up. See, I've got the ox here behind me.
That's great. That's great. And thank you so much for inviting me. I really love all of our conversations. And I hope I didn't go too far over anyone's head.
You did. It was perfect.
Okay, so, great.
Thank you so much. And
happy Chinese
New Year. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Bye.
Cheers.